Okay, well, let me show you what I got. This took basically all day, but it is working. So, tooltips. Uh, they're here. It's cool to see. Works for items too. Same script and everything. I just tried to pass the list in as a string. I'll have to do like a string builder or something to properly display the information, but the sizing and everything works. It doesn't look terrible. Looks like a regular old tooltip, and I can do this for anything. So whatever I want to hover over, I just need to call the function and pass in the data, and it will do whatever. Um, I didn't fix. I can't really demonstrate it, but right now I just have the anchor in the bottom right there. You can see that's where it's on. Oh yeah, I need to fix that too, but yeah. But it still goes off the screen. And I need to set. Let me put a couple of reminders in for that. I need to set it as last sibling too. It's working now because it just is the last sibling, but I need to um, just do that. I need to restrict tooltip to screen size, and the way I pass things in, I can do that a little better, I believe. But I'm pretty happy with where I got to today. I'll go over a couple of it, or a little bit. Basically, this whole script was what I did today, like this, and changing a couple things around in other scripts to make it work. No dependencies here, though. Yeah, this is all encapsulated, except for the singleton. But yeah, I don't know. I wish I would just stop doing singletons, but they are really easy, because I think it's going to make it difficult to do multiplayer in the future if I move in that direction. But anyway, so tools tip script. I inspector assign my I can show you tooltip visual. So this is oops, there you go. So this is the visual here. It's just on my canvas for now. But I have the background, which is that. So I wanted to change that up more. Not 250, but maybe 230. Well, let's go with 240. So background, that's what's getting, you know what a background is. Image container is the border for the item, and then that's the actual item sprite for whatever I want to display. The name goes at the top, the right text goes to the right of the sprite, and the bottom text will be centered at the bottom. So how am I doing all this? Assign my rect, hide tooltip on start, update. So this is following the mouse. This was ChatGPT. One of the few things that I actually didn't think and implement myself. I knew it was possible and not too difficult, so I focused on everything else. And this was one of the last things I implemented. And my brain's just really fried, so I just asked ChatGPT how to do it, and it told me. Okay, so we'll start here. Yeah. So I didn't copy anything, which you can probably tell, because I don't know. I don't. It doesn't look pretty to me, but it is implemented, and maybe a few refactors down the road it'll look a little better. But so what I did was I created this show public void show tooltip function, and it can take in 4 parameters, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, or just one, if I just want to display a line of text. So anytime I want to display a tooltip, for example over here, and this is another thing, I hope I don't have to do this, but I couldn't think of any better way to do it. So stat display prefab. So stat display prefab is what shows up on the stats list, and that is over here. So in this script here, I just put a iPointer enter and exit handler. I had to disable raycast in a bunch of different places, and then I put a completely opaque image over with raycast on it, and some padding on there. So when you enter, I define a description, and then depending on what attribute type, which is already defined in this script, I'm already getting it here. So depending on the attribute type of the stat that I'm hovering over in the stats sheet, I just wrote a simple description. So then this is what I'm calling tooltip and show tooltip, and I pass in the name, and that's the first parameter. So that's going to display at the top, and if I do this, you can see, and this is cool because I never did anything like this, but you always see this in the Unity stuff, but I made this and now it's here, so that's kind of cool to see, and now I understand better how a lot of this stuff works. So you can pass in, you can just show tooltip just to show it if you want, but I pass in either an item name, or an item name and a bottom text, or an item name, a sprite. So this could be for like if you get like fish teeth, like shark teeth or something, you could do like shark tooth and then show the item and then have a brief description. Or you can do the full item. This is what you use for item implementation here, which I think I'll do another one that takes in like a item object, and to avoid having to do I'll come back there, but inventory controller, it is in here, place selected, it's in, I just kind of stuck this in. I might try to find a better spot for it, but this is really long, right? This gets really long. So I get the name of the item, I get the sprite, and these are lists, so that's why they show up all funky. So I'll have to do a string builder or something, and I'll probably just stick that on the item itself, and then just pass that out as different strings, or string builder, for loop, or something in there for each, because those are all lists anyway. So going back here, so then each of these do their own little thing. I set the game object active, and then if it's null, no, I set the sprite to null because I'm not passing in a sprite, and then I set the vectors to 0, so they're not getting in the way, because I use their sizes for calculating and sizing dynamically, and then I set what I need to. So these are being reset, and then this is being set, and then I set preferred child size. So in here handles all the sizing of the objects. So if there is a sprite, then I set, and this is just an inspector assigned variable, it's just assigned to 100, 100. I preserve the aspect ratio of the sprite, and then I set the size delta according to that of the container, plus some padding. I could probably do by 3, that might be a little better. So a couple magic numbers in here, but the script's pretty much done, implementation's pretty much done, and I don't think I'll change these more or less make sense. And then if it is null, then I once again set them to 0. This might be a bit redundant, but it's not hurting anything. Actually, no, because if it is null, that could just be an else, but if it is null, then I'm just setting those to 0. So item name get component size delta item name get prepared values. So this I do need to change, and I'll end up adding what I added down here. but I'm just getting the preferred values of the item name. So right now the text is just a static value that I set in the tooltip on the Text Mesh Pro thing, and then next for the right side text, because this took me forever, I got really stuck on this. Enable word wrapping. So when you do get preferred values in the, it automatically disables wrapping or something, however it works, and I tried to look how it works, but all that happens is it takes me over here and like this is all I get. So I wanted to see what was actually happening, but I don't know how to find that. So anyway, I get my preferred values, and then I have an inspector assigned max width and also max height, but I'm not using the max height. So if, and this is for the right item, right? So I get my preferred values. So if it's really, really long, then, if it's greater than the max width times 2, and since this is the right side, it's sharing a line with the sprite, so I needed to divide by 2. Then I go ahead and get a multiplier by dividing I guess I could make those multipliers in the inspector too, but I divide the size delta that was assigned from the preferred values by the max width divided by 2, and then I add 1. So I add 1 because then I cast that float as an int. So if it's more than 1, if it's less than 1, it's just plus 1. This should never occur at less than 1 because it would be less than that. So it's over 1. So then I cast it as an int, and because it's a multiplier, I just need to add 1. Otherwise, I'm timesing by 1. So then I set the size delta to a new vector 2, and I do max width divided by 2, which is my max width in this instance. And then I get the item right text at preferred height, which I had to do it this way because if I had word wrapping on all the time, it messes up the sizes, because when it plugs in text, like it could just be a like I need to be doing things in a different order to make it work. But what happens is when it plugs the text into the thing, it like auto wraps it sometimes, and then gets the height. So the height it becomes wonky, and so does the width. So what I do is I just disable word wrapping, and then I set the sizes here, preferred height times the multiplier, because the preferred height is going to be just for one line. So for every lines over the max width, I just multiply the one line by this, and then this was a bit hacky, but it ended up working, and I did this. This took so long, like it's so annoying. Item right text, and then I enable word wrapping again. So I've got the proper size, and then I enable word wrapping so the text displays properly. So I do that for the right side text and the bottom text as well, and I'm going to end up doing it just for the name. That way I can just pass in, and I might rename that because it'll just be. I almost wanted to do like string 1. I could do like top text, right text, bottom text. I like that a little better now that I say it out loud. So anyway, I set the preferred child size, so all the children of the tooltip, which is my sprite and my name and my right side text and bottom text. So I set all their sizes, and then after I set their sizes here, then I calculate the size of my tooltip object, the background, which is what this script is attached to. So rect transform. So then I go through and I did it this way because it was really hurting my brain to try and like put a lot of this stuff on the same line. So what I do is the item name, because that's at the top, I need the height that's going to be included. So I define a height and a width, and this is copy pasted in all of these. So I'm not really happy about that, but I don't know a different way to do it, because I'd have to pass in different parameters, and I don't feel like that would clean things up any. So for now it's just doing this. So I get the height of the item name, so that's the text height, And then the width, I need the item container, which holds the sprite. I need that width because that's on the left, and then I need the right side text width because that's on the right, and then I need the height of whichever is bigger. So mathf.max, this will compare two or more floats and return just the highest value. And after each of these, I add some padding to the final value here, height and width. And then the bottom text, I get the width and the height here. And again, I'm just doing a comparison between the current width and this width. So if it's bigger than that, otherwise I just use that and I add some padding, which maybe I don't need to do that here now that I think about it. Maybe that's why things were looking a little weird. Height, and then I get the height of the bottom text. And again, this is all happening after I setting the sizes. So then the final size is just the width and the height here that I've been adding to, and then I set the preferred size, which is down here, and this is the easiest of the functions in here. So I just pass in a size, I reset the final size so it's not continuously adding, and then I plus equal the passed in value, and I change the rect transform of this game object to the final size. So then this is the big one, set child position. So this is how I'm dynamically placing the 4 child objects in the way that I want to display them. So this actually came out kind of cool, although I think it looks kind of ugly with all these plus minus blah blah blah, but I did essentially the same thing here. So I reset the values for the top item name at the top, and then all of these items are centered. The anchors are in the center, the pivots are in the center. So then I take the Y position, so I need the height for, and this is because this is my top text, I know it's going to be centered, so this basically stays. So to get the top position, I go ahead and I do rect transform dot height. After I've already set the size, so I divide it by 2. So my center will be at the top of the rect transform, and then I need to bring it down by the size of this object, and then I need to add some padding, and then I just added this because I was changing things a little bit here and there. Right now it's 0.75, which I think the tooltip looks good as it is, so that might stay. So again, I set it to the top center, and then I minus by half the height because it would be half on and half off, and that'll bring it in line, and then I add the padding times the padding multiplier, and then I set its new location to that, so anchored position equals that. Yeah. And then I do the same thing for the left sprite, although this time I was originally just leaving it right in the middle, but that didn't work out too well. So now I'm basing the Y position off of the top text. So pretty much the same stuff here. I set it to the left over here by minusing because I want it to be on the left, and then I minus half of that, and I bring it in line with the side, and then I add some padding. And then for the top, I set it to the top text, and then I compare the container height or the right text height, and whichever is bigger, then I move it down by that, so those stay in line, which I don't need to do, but I did it. And then padding multiplier, and then I set that. Same for the right side text, and the bottom text is just the top but reversed. So that's pretty much it, I think. And then all I have to do is call those functions, and I've got a show which reset tooltip. High tooltip goes ahead and just resets all the values as well. So yeah, pretty much it was really cool to kind of like just sit down and I just did this. I did all this, and I didn't I looked up like CodeMonkey had a video on tooltips, so I worked through some stuff on his. I halfway watched it. I don't know if I actually took anything from his, because of the way I wanted to do this. Just have a generic tooltip that covers a lot of things. couldn't really, like, his video didn't serve that purpose, so I pretty much made all this up, and then there you go. I think I did some other stuff today, but that was pretty much what I did. Is this. So I need to do a string builder probably for the item affixes. I'm gonna sneeze here or something. Global item. So I've got these lists, so I need to turn these lists into readable text that I can display. So I'm thinking that I'll do a string builder in here, and I'll just do like a for each loop that builds the string that I want to display. And then I can just get that. I can just send that in. It'll be like a public variable here or something. Man, I feel like there's more than I did, but that was just, it was a lot. Like, took me forever, because just not real experience and stuff, but I actually put it together and I got it working, and it didn't feel impossible or any of that, so that was cool. One thing I do want to say that I just am not liking now is all these switch cases that I have. Their implementations are relatively easy. However, if I add anything to the item type, I have to go into all the switch cases and add it in there also. And same for the attributes too. If I add more attributes, I have to go into the switch cases and add them there too. So that's a little annoying. So I'm trying to think of better ways to do that. But I don't know, just because I'm defining them as an enum, I don't think that if I want to have text and stuff in there, I can't just like reference that specific one. Like, this is specific text. This is specifically to intelligence, so yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, I'll play it one more time because I like looking at it. Oh yeah, and I need to tooltip. No, what the hell does Control B do? And now I don't have my errors. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I need to anyway, yeah, there you go. And you can see the sizes are consistent. What's the biggest one right here? So these aren't going over the size, so they're not overlapping. But then when you go over here, it should work here. Yeah, cool. You can see that string's going over the size, so it is overlapping in both places too. That spacing. Oh, it's based on the bottom. Right. Okay. Yeah. Preserve aspect ratio. But yeah, there we go. Anyway, that's it.